Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today we have a special show here from the ABV Barrel Shop Tasting Bar where Darren and I, Steve Akeley here, Darren McCroy there, are going to be trying Trackside, a new release from my friend Jade Peterson. Hey Darren, what's up, man?
Nothing, what's up with you?
Not much, man. So this is an interesting one. This has been in the works for years, and we'll get into the story of all that kind of stuff and much, much more after the break. We'll taste it for the first time, which should be pretty cool, and we'll tell you what we know, which is not a whole lot, but we'll give you what we have as far as information on this one. And we hope to have this one here in our shop at some point very soon, but we'll talk about all that after the break. For right now, Darren, you said there's something you want to talk about. What is that, sir?
So earlier we started talking about national parks, and we both agreed Yellowstone's the best.
Yes.
So besides Yellowstone, what is a national park you really want to visit again?
What's the name? You get me a blank on stuff. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
The one in California with El Capitan.
Not Yosemite. It's the other one.
It's Yosemite.
It is Yosemite.
It's Yosemite, yeah.
Okay.
So I went out to Yosemite one time. Spent the whole day there, though. What was kind of cool, it was a guy who lived out in California. He lived in Sacramento, California. And we went to spent the whole day, and he was a guy like you. He wanted to be a park ranger. That was his initial goal, what he studied in college and stuff like that. And then he gets out, and then I don't know, I guess his things sound good, and then it was like, they don't make the kind of money I want, I might have to be transferred here, there, and everywhere, and he decided he didn't want to do it. But he had that love and passion, and he lives close enough to Yosemite, he goes there a lot, and he knew all about the floral and fauna of Yosemite. It was kind of cool to have like a one-on-one tour guide, but what was missing was my family. I always like to go to the things. Now the family is just the warden and I, but at the time it would have been the kid, the warden and I. But yeah, I'd like to go back there with the wife and explore it on our own. I thought it was a really cool place. It was even more so than Yellowstone. Maybe there's a lot of camping and stuff like that.
Yeah,
in that park.
So Yosemite is one I haven't been to yet.
Yeah, so there was a lot of campers and the campsites. We went into one of those and to the commissary that they had there. It was nice. I mean, I thought it was really a cool place. So,
that is one on the top of my list of places I haven't been to yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of the other California redwoods, and I just didn't get far enough north for Yosemite.
Yeah.
And like the redwoods were so cool.
Yeah, I do love the redwoods. Man, that is one of the favorites too.
It's just breathtaking. But and my answer is actually going to probably get me made fun of, but I think the one that I want to go back to the most,
Gateway Arch or whatever it's called, Jefferson National Gateway Arch. I don't know what it's called.
Everglades.
The Everglades. No, I'd love to get to the Everglades.
Well, yes, but I usually am just hating on Florida.
Oh, that's true.
As who I am as a person. The Everglades was so cool the one time I was there. I went with my parents, and we also went to spring training games. It was like the perfect trip. My dad got to go watch baseball, and I got to go in the Everglades. And but
we've been periphery of the Everglades, gone into the area and stuff like. But yeah, I want to spend some time going in there and going on the fan boats and all that kind of stuff.
So we did one airboat tour of just like a small section, but they have like 3-day airboat tours, and like they drop you off at a cabin and then you go get back on a bus, and there's all these it's really cool things to try and see the whole park, because so much of it you can't see by walking around. It's not a hiking friendly walk, but
yeah. I'm fascinated by the Everglades anyway, just in general. I think the diversity of the animals there, and this kind of mystery about it, and it's a weird thing too that there are people that live in that park.
Yeah.
Illegally, there's certainly a lot of that where there's just people that set up camps and tents and stuff like that. But there's also people who have land. I just watched a thing on YouTube where the guy, I think they used to have 50 acres, which then became part of the Everglades. They allowed him to keep 3 acres and have a house there, but he can't change out the house or anything like that. He can't build another house. But this guy wasn't the owner of that, but they can sell it. So it's existing. He can't. So he bought this, and he just goes out there. It is cool, man.
That would be awesome. Being there at night.
Yeah, that's what they went out there at night.
Oh,
they got this big. It has to be like a military vehicle that they went out to his place in, and they were driving through the Everglades, and you just see all these weird animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff in the water. It was a cool video, man.
There's actually a lot of, just because of the way the laws are written, there's more people that live in national parks than you would think.
Really? I know Smoky Mountains has some, but again, it's the same thing. It's, they're taking over land that people have lived for generations. So,
yep. Yeah. It's not every park, but most parks have somebody.
Uh-huh.
And Yellowstone he technically lives on government land, but there's a guy whose job it is to take care of the park during the winter and goes through and does everything in the winter. He's the only person there in the middle of
that's his land and his house?
So he technically...
Or is he just like an employee that has to live there?
He technically has a house that is in his name currently.
Right. But it is on the land, technically,
of the government,
right.
And he cannot sell that house.
Oh, okay.
The government gets first dibs to put somebody else in there to be the caretaker. But he's written a couple novels of all the things he sees in the winter.
Yeah,
and he goes, "It's cool to be here in the summertime, but in the winter it is just so much different." And watching the wolves hunt and tracking them and all of that stuff is just really wild at the wintertime.
Yeah.
They get a lot of snow.
That would be amazing.
You can only get around by snowmobile.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've started recently doing, I think they started 2 years ago maybe, out of Mammoth doing small snowmobile tours where you could go in to the park and see some things, but... this guy basically gets free reign of the whole park, and just goes around in a snowmobile.
Cool. That's cool. You wonder, man. Each morning when you look out for the first time, you never know what you're going to see out there. Whether you're living in Yellowstone or the Everglades, it's got to be crazy, right?
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Because the guy in the Everglades is right on the swamp. There has to be gators, pythons, because all that stuff's in there. All that's got to be coming up on his house every day.
Probably the most likely person to see a Florida panther.
Yeah.
Just because it'd be quieter. Yeah, I think you'd have to have a cup of coffee on the porch every morning just to take everything in. Mm-hmm. Birds migrating through, especially Everglades. There's so many different birds.
Yeah. It would be cool. And he doesn't live there full time, so he gets kind of the best of everything. He gets to go there whenever he wants, and. Yeah,
I don't know. I think once I started living there, I'd be like, I kind of like this, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I would think so.
So, just because I also don't know the answer to this question, what is the biggest animal you've seen in North America?
Kodiak. I was in Alaska.
Okay.
And so in Denali National Park, there's Kodiaks there.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest. I've never seen polar bear. We're not counting anything zoo. We're out there.
In the wild.
Yeah.
Kodiak's a good answer. So the two biggest land animals I haven't seen are polar bears and Kodiaks.
Mm-hmm.
because Kodiaks are so much bigger than South Grizzlies. They're not the same thing.
Right.
But like the biggest animal I saw in like the United States, quote unquote, was a blue whale. But if you disclude all the whales, I was in San Francisco when the elephant seals were breeding on the beach, and so they were all laid out there, which they were like 1,100 pounds of moving beach basically there. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah. So it's that's fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
What park would you live in if you could live in a park?
Oh, geez,
what would it be?
I see. I love Yellowstone. The 100 inches of snow seems like too much for me. It might not be 100 inches. It's a lot, though. I think I'd just go Smoky Mountain.
Smoky Mountains is good.
I love Smoky Mountains. It's the mornings in Smoky Mountains are just so cool with all the fog and the trees, the air. Smoky Mountains has been one of my favorite places that I ever went to. I think that's when I fell in love with a lot of the nature stuff, because that was like the easy trip that we do a lot when I was younger. And I go to Rocky Mountain, and you're like, yeah, the mountains are bigger, but it's just something about Smoky Mountains. Just
yeah. If I could live in one, I guess it would be the Everglades, because I like the warm weather. I'm
Dry Tortugas could be a good one.
Dry Tortugas
is off the coast of Key West.
Yeah. I'm afraid to go there because I don't like any of the means to get there.
Yeah.
Very small plane, which I don't think I fit in a small plane, or boat rides where, I mean, a lot of people are thrown up. So I predisposition to that, and like our friends have all gone and they're thrown up, and I was just like, man, if I've got motion sickness before, I'm down and out for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I could have fun there, because the dread of knowing that I have to come back the same way overrides anything once I kind of get balanced out.
Yep. And now that you have this thought process too, you probably really shouldn't go. So when we went and saw blue whales, I was still traveling with my parents, and my mom was worried about getting seasick the whole time. Me and my dad were just like, yeah. And she was so worried about being seasick that she didn't really get to enjoy things. She was never actually sick.
Right.
She felt a little queasy.
That's a problem, right.
Yeah, but she was just so worried about it. And her eyesight was really bad at this time. Luckily, that's fixed now. And so, like, we would be pointing out the blue whale that was 20 feet away, and she couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But
yeah. For anybody who doesn't get that, for me, what it feels like is, you're dizzy. Like you've been on the, an amusement park ride that spins you around, and some people deal with that better than others, but I don't like that feeling. And, it's a combination of, you can't see straight, you're queasy. Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah. I thankfully have not gotten sick on a boat yet, so I enjoy my time on any boat. Like we were out when I was in Panama. We were out like past, because a lot of the wave, like in the Gulf, there's no waves, right? But we were on the other side, and our boat was going like this.
Oh yeah.
And we were catching stuff, and it was
you're probably
blast.
good. You're probably good.
Yeah.
So, all right. What we'll do next? We'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to try Trackside. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
It's JP Knobloch. I have nice hair on the ABV Bourbon Daily Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's Steve Akeley and Darren McCroy. We're here at the ABV Barrel Shop, and this whiskey that we got here is kind of cool because it's like a one-man show. So Jade Peterson, he's a great distiller. Mm-hmm. So he learned how to distill on a pot still, and then they switched over to a column still. So he's kind of, he's kind of used everything he knows, and he did enough years on the pot still, and now he's been enough years on the column still. I think he's pretty versed at both of them, and I think he's just a very versatile distiller. Unlike most, and he's in this situation where he's not in a big distillery. Some of the problems of if you work at a beam or something like that, it's almost like a production, like an assembly line for a car. You might learn one part of the distillation. Maybe you're just cooking mash all the time, or something like that. Whereas where he works, he gets to do a little bit of everything. So I think that he gets kind of the best of everything. Several years ago, so Steve Thompson, the guy who owned, and I forget what the name of the distillery is, Crestwood, Kentucky,
Kentucky Artisan?
Kentucky Artisan, yes. So Kentucky Artisan, so Steve Thompson, who owned that, said to Jada, they worked out a deal where he could, in exchange for, staying extra or whatever like that, every once in a while he could have some still time. He had to buy the products, the raw grains and all that from them, and he would pay him for that, for his expenses, but then he could run some of his stuff on the still and put away barrels, and then he pays to store the barrels like any other customer. I mean, he was just laying down stuff for himself, but he's been doing that for, 5 or 6 years. So,
okay, so this has really been in the works for a while.
Yeah, it has been in the works for a while. So he's been doing this, and I always wondered, what's going to happen with this. Well, now it's finally the time. I know that at Kentucky Derby, that was kind of his launch, and he did that because there's a lot of people coming to Kentucky, stuff like that. It's a great time to launch a brand for sure. And the name of the brand even ties into racing and stuff like that. It's called Trackside, and features a horse race on the front. And I know they did events like at one of the Kentucky Derby event, not the Derby itself, but they have many races and different events and things like that. And then they did some other events and things like that to launch it. And he's got a lot of play because combination of people like him and they respect Kentucky Artisan, and he has a lot of contacts. He deals with a lot of the buyers that come in for barrel picks and stuff. So he's in like all the liquor stores in Kentucky. So your liquor barns and all those type of places, he's in there, which that's not easy to do.
No, that's not easy to do. So unless you're Jade Peterson, then it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, so he's had some success with it. And then the Trackside thing, he was talking to me about it. I went and met him, and I got this bottle, and he was telling me that it may change. Like Trackside this time means it's horse racing, but there could be another one where it's auto racing, and then when it's auto racing season, they'll do auto racing, and maybe during baseball they'll do, because there's a warning track in baseball. They'll do a baseball theme, and they'll just do different stuff with it. It's always going to evolve. It won't be the same ever like that. So.
I always think it's crazy that more bourbon companies don't latch on to like just baseball themes, right? Like you see a lot of horse racing stuff. You don't see baseball, which I think the two best things America has built is baseball and bourbon, right? Like that's kind of our If that's all we get credit for, we did a damn good job with those two things.
Yeah,
and especially with Louisville having Slugger there. And
that's true. That's true. So they've got a nice, rich history there.
So I think that's a great idea. But also, this label is beautiful. I was just looking at it really for the first time. Got a little bit of a race going on at the top. Nice font. Everything's readable.
Yeah.
That's been something that's been bringing out my old man anger recently. Looking at labels getting approved by TTB. Some of them, they'll have like the name of what it is, even where it's from, in like the smallest letters on the side. I'm like, how am I supposed to know what you are if you don't put it on the front of your bottle?
Yeah, yeah. Some of that stuff is unbelievable to me. How the TTB has rules and man, they come down on certain people at certain times, but then other stuff just they let slide.
Yeah,
and people get away with anything. So weird. But this is his product. It's a 93 proof. This is the first offering of it. He is so this is a batch, and then he's looking at doing some single barrels, and that's where we might get involved. So let's see what we got here. Let's give this thing a taste.
The nose is fantastic. I've been sitting here. It is like just full caramel butterscotch. It is just hitting me in the face.
Even kind of waffles going
on.
So yeah, that's good on the nose. Taste it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's got something to be proud of there. That is really good.
That is really good.
That is...
It's $60 even for a 93 proof. I'm in.
Yeah.
I love it. It is...
Yeah.
And it's just big, bold flavor. So this was on the column still, you think?
This was probably back when they had the pot still.
Okay.
Yeah. So they transitioned over. They had that old pot still from Brown-Forman, because Steve Thompson, his history was he worked for Brown-Forman. He leaves there to kind of start his own thing. And then he was... working at, what is now Kentucky Artisan. And Brown-Forman was like, they're going to decommission that old pot still that they had that looked like a UFO. And they paid him to take that away.
Wow.
He didn't buy it. They paid him to take it away.
That's got to be one of the best deals ever. Like, for someone that's just starting a whiskey brand, and like, hey, I could really use this still here. They're like, yeah, how about we pay you?
How much are we going to pay you to get this thing off our hands? He was probably called to see if he could buy it. They're like, how much do we need to pay? How big's the check going to be?
And then he like crosses out his number of what he was willing to pay and goes, I don't know, it's an awful big still.
Yeah, so that was one of the coolest things ever. So I was really sad when he decommissioned that. Now, he had that up until he passed away. He kept it. He didn't get rid of it. And I think his family ended up selling it. And I know it was for sale for like a couple $100,000. And man, I was like, I don't even know what the hell I do with it. I wanted it though.
Yeah.
I wanted it. Just because I thought it was so unique.
No, that would be a really cool thing.
If I had it, it would be unfortunate because like half the shop would be wasted because I just have the damn still in here. It wouldn't be running. We don't have that sort of license, but I would just want, and I wouldn't have any place for it at my house. So.
Would it even fit in here?
It would take up our educational area for sure.
I was thinking with the roof.
We might have to raise the ceiling here.
Okay.
We'll have to no drop ceiling on that part of the shop.
Got it.
Yeah. But it is a cool thing. This is great whiskey for sure. And Jade Peterson, I have confidence in anything that he does.
Yeah.
So, that is really cool. I'm proud of him. I'm glad for him. And it's exciting for him. I can't imagine the patience that he had to have with this, just laying that stuff down. And I don't know. And that's what he's saying. He's like, man, I'm sure everybody thinks I'm rich because I have a brand. He's like, man, I got less money down there. I got to put on all these parties to launch it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's
been paying to let it age and everything.
Yeah. Right.
Like, most people would be like, "Oh yeah, you got a sweet deal. Just got to distill a little extra while he was at work and got it done." But not. He still had to pay for storage and all of that.
Right. So he did it kind of the perfect way, really. But not, and most of us don't have access to the ability to do that. He was a distiller, and he was able to, I'm sure, always make things right and do it in the right way because he's making something for himself. That's for sure. But it's cool to see this come to fruition for him, and the patience that he had to wait until he felt it was right, and this is definitely right. So get out there and get you about $60. That's a crime.
Is he just
go buy all of it.
Kentucky, to your knowledge?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I talked to him about coming here, and he's like, I haven't been out of the state. I don't know how. I'm like, we can help you out with that.
Yeah, we've done this.
Yeah, we've connected, liquor companies with distributors that can help them get into the state, and so it's not a question of that. And he said, we can. What's good about him is we're tied with him as anybody in the business, so we can get whatever we want. So
sweet,
it's freaking awesome. So we'll be probably seeing a lot more of this in our future. So there
awesome.
You go. On that note, we're going to wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Darren, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at The Bourbon Adventures.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, that thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, come by and see us. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. We're online, abvbarrelshop.com. You never know. We may be recording a podcast in here. Pretty cool stuff. You want to get involved with the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. First of all, help us out. That would be a great way to get involved. So leave us a 5-star review with comments. No one seems to do that. I wish you would. It helps out in the algorithms, which I don't know what that means. I only know in theory. I hear people talking about it, but apparently it's good if you can be up in the algorithms. Help me out there. Leave a 5-star review with comments. And also head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network. That'll do it for today. We'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.